Driver, to the office rather quickly, please.
Right away, sir.
What you're seeing now are S-classes being built in bright, sterile factories. But you can be forgiven if you would imagine that Mercedes-AMGs just simply manifest or spawns in deep, dark basements close to the Earth's core. And when I say that, I don't particularly mean it regarding the styling of this particular S63 SE performance. You see, in my opinion, this is quite restrained for an AMG. I mean, the only thing that really sets it apart from the S-classes are this Panamericana grille, these front bumpers with those functional air dams, that front splitter, as well as those quad exhaust pipes at the rear and that large diffuser. But what really matters on these cars, this particular car, is actually what happens underneath it all. You see, if you take a glance at that 21-inch forged alloy wheels, you'll notice behind it they are quite large 400mm carbon ceramic disc brakes with 6-pot cylinders. Yeah, that sort of tells you the story of what this car is all about. Step inside the Mercedes-AMG S63 SE performance, and that understated theme continues there. Well, you see, it looks almost very much like a regular S-Class, if there is even such a thing. But there are little hints that's going to tell you you're in an AMG. Noticeably, first is the AMG seats. Well, these are covered in AMG-specific leather. Gets the AMG logo on the backrest, and then the Bach badge is embossed in the headrest. And then, well, they look very normal S-Class seat, but these dynamic side bolsters hold you and keep you in your seat and well upright as you go through corners. And then take, for instance, the steering wheel. Well, this is an AMG-specific steering wheel, and it's got these dials at the bottom, which the one on the left lets you set your traction control and how aggressive your transmission is, and even your suspension stiffness. The one on the right lets you scroll through your different drive modes. All the way to the right is Sport Plus, putting this car in its most aggressive mode and as loud as it can get. And then dial it all the way to the left and you back in the individual mode, which lets you set the car up exactly the way you want. But also in between there's a battery mode and an electric mode, which we'll get to in a second or two. But also, as soon as you start the car up, there is AMG emblems displayed on the screens in front of you, as well as here in the center console. The 12.8-inch OLED display, which very much is similar to that of in a regular S-Class again, does have a few AMG options as well. If you go into the menus, the car setup, so to speak, you have the AMG performance and the AMG track pack options here in your infotainment systems, which allows you to do things like time yourself around your favorite racetrack or conduct a drag race against your friends at your favorite track and time it and see and read the telemetry afterwards. It records it for you. You can even watch live telemetry. You can see what your vehicle is doing and how much power the engine is providing versus the electric motor at the back. So it's very much AMG, but it's hidden away under a few layers as to like keep it a little bit more S-Class on the inside here. But that brings me to the next little part. You see, even though the exterior and the interior might be understated, well, in my opinion, there is a part of this car which is not. But for that, we're going to head out onto the road, and then I can tell you a little bit more about that. So, under this bonnet of this land yacht, you're going to find a 4-liter twin turbocharged hot V8 producing on its own 450 kilowatts and 900 newton meters of torque. And it sends that power to all 4 wheels via a 9-speed double clutch transmission. But not only is that propelling you forward, at the back of this car you're going to find an electric motor that produces 140 kilowatts and 320 newton meters of torque. Yeah. Now, when that electric motor as well as the engine propels this car at its full potential, you can expect 590 kilowatts and 1,430 newton meters of torque. It is insane. Now, what does that mean in terms of performance? Well, this car will go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.3 seconds. At least that's what Mercedes claims. And because it's got the AMG driver's package on it, it will accelerate all the way up to 290 kilometers an hour. So what about that electric motor? Well, interestingly enough, it gets its own 2-speed transmission. Why? Because Mercedes wanted this electric motor to not just run up the acceleration, it wanted to continue propel it throughout the entire engine's rev range. So because this electric motor can continue pushing the car forward for the entire rev range, it gives you a little bit of a hint as to what this hybrid configuration is all about. Sure, it's going to give you a frugal return, me personally averaging around a high to mid 8 liters per 100 kilometers. But ultimately, with that smaller battery, which is 13.1 kilowatt hours, and that claimed range of around 30 kilometers, you get the idea that this setup is geared more towards performance than efficiency. So now that we know that this setup, the drivetrain, is more performance focused, you might wonder, but what's it actually like to drive? Is it a true AMG? Well, let's go find out. Okay guys, we're inside the Mercedes S63. Sorry, let me just quiet this down for you. There we go. Okay, so we're inside here, and before I touch on the dynamics of this car, let me speak to you a little bit about the refinement. You see, Mercedes basically still had to keep this an S-Class for you, so you still need the refinement, you still need the comfort and just the quietness of being inside one of these cars. And if you're in comfort mode, the suspension is nice and soft and it will soak up all of these bumps and undulations. The engine noise quiets down and you can just sort of float all the way wherever you want to go, and then enjoy some of your, well, extra features that you're going to find in this car. Things such as these multi-contour seats that are hugging you as you go through corners. And then also, you have a personal assistant. Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Can you switch on the front passenger massage suite seat, please?
I'm switching on the massage on the front passenger seat.
As you can see, you can pretty much ask for anything and your assistant will give it to you. And with all of the features packed in this car, the list of things you cannot ask for is quite small, actually. But then, is it good as an AMG? And that's where the dynamics comes in. You see, if you turn this little dial on your steering wheel on the right, all the way to the right-hand side, you're gonna get to Sport Plus mode. And that's a mode that many AMG enthusiasts are very familiar about. You see, that's the mode that actually turns the engine all the way to 11. It firms up the suspension and it pumps up the noise coming out of the exhaust at the back, but also I think it does pump in some artificial noise into the cabin. But I'm still a fan. You still get to hear a V8, but it also makes the transmission so much quicker. Like, oh, there we go. That's quite a quick transmission, and that power is just instantly there. But then at the same time, you can switch to comfort mode. You can customize your experience as you drive along. But in the Sport Plus mode, you can throw this car into corners. You can really go at it, and you're not going to feel like this is a big, heavy S-Class. In fact, it feels super light. It almost feels like a little A45S, for instance, a little hatchback. It just hugs the apexes, and you don't really notice the weight. The only time you might pick up that this car is slightly bigger, slightly heavier, coming in at around 2,500 kilograms, is when you really jump on the brakes. That's when you notice, okay, I might need to brake slightly earlier. But other than that, really, those carbon ceramic brakes will take care of it, and you will not really lose any confidence going fast. Honestly, it's a phenomenal place. But if you are going to spend most of your time in comfort mode, then you might want to spend it at the back, not really up here. So let's go and check it out, what's going on there. And here we are in the back, the business end, I would say. Well, not really the business end, that's underneath the bonnet in the front. I mean, where business people can come and relax. Yes, you have very soft, comfortable seats, just like the two front occupants, but these can really recline back, and you can activate the massage function as well. And then, even though there is basically a whole rugby pitch worth of legroom in front of me, if you still need it a little bit more, all you need to do is eject this little optional rear tablet of yours, go into the seating positions, select the front passenger seat, and quite literally move it forward. But ultimately, you're sitting at the back, you can relax, take in the noise, the comfort, and well, if some people might bother you, you can always bring up your blinds. So, hey Mercedes,
How can I help?
to put up the rear passenger blind.
I'm closing the rear left roller sunblind.
Now nobody can look in, and you can just sit back and relax. And now it comes to a verdict. You see, sometimes car manufacturers try to create these cars that does it all. That's both fast and comfortable and luxurious, and it doesn't always execute very well. But that's not the case when it comes to the Mercedes-AMG S63 SE Performance. You see, all of that combines into a package that can be both brutally fast and accurate in the corners and agile, as well as quiet down and be comfortable and just compliant when you just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy some of these luxuries that is built into this vehicle. So for me, is it the perfect car? No, there are certain things that I might want to change or that I prefer slightly different, but that's a very subjective thing. But it does come close to being the perfect car, and that's why I think it demands a slightly higher price. I mean, the base model comes in at around 4.7 million, and start adding options such as this rear tablet, and you're going to see that price creeping closer to the 5 million mark rather quickly. But then again, this car isn't aimed for a person such as myself. This is aimed for people that cannot have anything but the best, that is willing to pay to have the best. And I really do think if you are in the performance, saloon or sedan segment, this is very much up there with the best. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and then comment, tell us what you want us to see test next. And well, thank you for watching. Driver, to the office rather quickly, please.
Right away, sir.